Hi everyone and welcome along. Now Ant has just blown my mind because here I was about to tell you we're going to paint these cute little Easter eggs that you could do with all the family and put them on your very own Easter tree, and then Ant suddenly went, oh right, are we doing like the real life version of the thing we painted the other week? I'd completely forgotten that we painted this, didn't we? Yeah. So, thanks Ant for reminding us. So, right, well, thank heavens he's here because I'd lose my mind otherwise. Grab your paints and let's get started. This is so simple and something that anyone in the family will probably enjoy doing, and also the kind of project where you can make it your own. Run with this idea, do all sorts of designs on the eggs. But essentially what it is a bit of watercolour paper painted on both sides. And as you can see, we've got a nice little bit of metallic splatter on one of the sides. Then two shapes cut out for my rather rudimentary egg template. And then I've cut them together to slot in to make an egg like that. And then I've just threaded the ribbon through. Now, what I will say is, for anything sort of heavier than a bit of watercolour paper, I would have made sure that the piece slotting from underneath would be attached to the top so it wouldn't sort of fall off or anything, but actually it's so lightweight and the slot is really nice and tight that they hang really beautifully and there's no real danger of them falling off the tree. So how do we do it? Well, we need a piece of watercolour paper, any sort of shape or size. Just make sure it's blank on both sides, and you want a few large brushes. So this is a mop brush. I found it easiest to wet the paper first, so here we go, wet the paper first, and whilst that dries and various bits and pieces fall off the brush. Oh dear. Yeah, while that dries, I'm going to wake up some fun colours in my palette. So we've got nice purple, opera rose, just try and avoid getting that splattered too early before we actually want to do it. The turquoise worked really nicely. So yeah, just some nice, fun, bright light colours. And then you could either use your mop brush for this, or maybe I'm going to use my Connoisseur size 12 pointed round and just paint some stripes of colour. I just think it'll make your life much easier if your page is already wet, because they can bleed and blend into each other much more easily. I find 3 colours is quite a good limit. So you want to let this dry 100%, turn it over and repeat the process on the back. What I find amazing is how much the colours lighten as they dry. Anyway, on the back, repeat the process. You can use different colours, same colours. I kept mine all in this nice nice spring-like, fairly pastel colour palette. I think just also be careful not to overwork and muddy your colours as well. So get all of your work done with one colour, like I'm doing here, all the stripes of one colour. Clean off your brush. I might try some orange this time. Lovely. Okay, let's let it dry 100% and then we can add some gold splatters. And now time for some splatters. So I'm just using my Finetech palette, using a nice pale pearly gold. I find that the colours, the metallic tones don't really come to life until it dries. So just doing 2 golds, it's always nice. And I just tend to do it on one side of the paper. You can do it on both if you like, or you could take this opportunity to do all sorts of patterns and swirls, maybe with your metallics, with fine line pens, or just with paint in a more concentrated manner. But this is nice because anyone can do it. You don't need any artistic ability at this point to create something really fun with these splatters. So once again, a little bit of drying time to wait, and then we can start transforming that into these. So now I've got my sheet all dry. I made an egg template just from, creating an egg shape and cutting it out. But if you want some help, there are so many egg templates you can print off and download off the internet. Also, you might have one of those hole punch shaped like an egg anyway. So don't fret if you don't have something, because you can definitely create an egg shape. But the whole important thing is that they are the same shape, because you're going to cut them out and slot the 2 of them together. So first off, we're just going to cut out the shape. Now you've got 2 lovely egg shapes with colours on both sides, and what I found to be very useful was to just draw a line up the centre of both, and I'm doing that by eye, very much doing that by eye, and that's fine. But what is important is for the slots, I actually, instead of just cutting a line, just a single cut like that, I actually cut out a very thin bit of watercolour paper, because this paper is thick, and to slot it together means you just need to take a little bit more out. So I've got the bottom half there, so this one I'm going to cut the top half down in. And I overshot a tiny bit, just so I've got a bit of wiggle room. And then on this one, I used my hole punch to punch a hole in the middle, slot the 2 together to create a really lovely egg. And here we are, threaded through the hole, and I just did a double knot at the top. And you could use twine, ribbon, string. I find the ribbon, they hang really nicely off. This twine's a little bit thick, so because the eggs are not heavy, it sort of holds its shape a bit. But just get a few branches. I just popped out and found a few fallen branches already, and I had a few nice pussy willow branches, beg your pardon. And they looked really nice all together in a spring-like collection. So pop those on and have a happy Easter.